Interestingly, we've done research in this. We've spoken to job seekers around the world. This is something that we tell everyone, and particularly for tech job seekers, because skill set mapping is a very big thing for tech jobs.
Huge number of resumes are submitted. What is the process of shortlisting it?
Every job that you apply to has a resume that meets that requirement. Now, the thing to remember is don't apply for everything. Companies have a lot of screening tools, screening softwares, which actually reject you.
As you might already know, Geeks for Geeks had partnered up with Indeed. And our collective aim is to help you build your career in tech. Today, I am here with Rohan Sylvester, who is the Talent Strategy Advisor at Indeed. So let's have a conversation with Rohan so that you can get some insights for how to ace your tech interview. So, hello Rohan. First of all, I am really grateful on the behalf of whole GFG team that you are here and you have taken some time out for us from a busy schedule. So to begin with, I would want to ask you a little about yourself and the role that you play at Indeed.
Thank you so much for having me, first of all. To answer in a very simple way about what I do, firstly, my name is Rohan Sylvester, as you said earlier. I am a talent strategy advisor with Indeed. I'm part of the marketing team, and I essentially play an advisory role where I provide consultative help for our clients who are using our platform to hire. I help them with recruitment strategies, with employer branding strategies, and wherever they need help to hire talent in India.
Well, quite crucial because you are helping a lot of freshers here, and the collaboration that we are having is going to just feed into that as well.
Yes, definitely. Well, this is actually something that's really close to my heart personally, and it also aligns a lot with what we do at Indeed as a mission. Our mission is very simple at Indeed. We help people get jobs, and we do whatever we can to do that. So, if it involves helping companies figure out how to use our platform, if it means coming here and helping job seekers understand how to find the right job, then I'm happy doing it.
So Rohan, like as you have described your job roles, the one thing that I really want to discuss with you is, just like with us, we do also have a job portal, and people who are looking for jobs, they tend to find so many portals here and there. But what are the strategies that we can have from an insider like you that really work for people to get tech jobs?
Well, I think the first place any tech job seeker or any job seeker for that matter should start off is to truly try and understand what they really want.
Right.
They need to understand what their requirements are from a cultural standpoint, what their requirements are from a skills or the kind of work they want to do. And once they get that together, once they understand what they're looking for, they shouldn't deviate from it too much. Now, of course, you're not going to get a perfect match in any organization. You need to have some flexibility, but you should have a very broad set of rules as to what you are comfortable or what you are looking for. Because what happens is, if you don't have that, when you apply for a job and you don't have, it doesn't meet your requirements, you're going to get unhappy very quickly. If you start this thought process much earlier and you understand truly what you're looking for, then it becomes that much easier to start applying for jobs and looking for the right jobs. Of course, you should also be doing a lot of professional networking. You should be trying to connect with people who are in the same field, in the same company, in a respectful, professional way, obviously, and then try and understand what they are looking for in candidates. And last but not least, as you said, there are a lot of job platforms. You should start applying for jobs.
Correct.
Now, the thing to remember is, don't apply for everything.
Right. That is the key point.
Yes, because there are a lot of job seekers who make that crucial mistake where they go and apply for a lot of jobs and they assume that as long as I can get into the interview, I get the role.
Correct.
But here's the problem, right? Companies have a lot of screening tools, screening softwares, which actually reject you. And see, getting rejected is not fun, right? So why are you putting yourself through that? So if you know what you're looking for and you find the right jobs, only apply for it then. And you're more than likely to succeed. And it makes your life easier because you are only focused on those few jobs and you are more likely to get a call back as well. Now, where they should go and do it, well, they can look for jobs on Indeed, obviously. We are a job platform and we aggregate jobs from all over. So it's easy to find jobs there. But of course, wherever you're looking for jobs, these are a few things that you should keep in mind. Know what you're looking for and don't apply to everything.
So Rohan, I completely agree to it. And there are a few people who actually just give a roadmap that you have to start applying as early as possible, and you have to keep on just applying without even seeing what the job description actually is. That actually becomes the main reason for demotivation, because a thing which you are not really comfortable with and you are going to apply for that, well, chances are you're not going to get in, and that then is going to cause you demotivation. So again, to the audience, what Rohan has said, you should emphasize on that, and you should take under consideration that from the initial stage that you are starting preparing, so the preparation should be in the manner that you are targeting a few things, right? And just the relevant companies that you're looking for should be targeted. And once you have a shorter pool, the chances are going to increase, right, Rohan?
Yes.
Correct. So Rohan, one more thing just popping in my head is one of the very crucial thing in any of the process of an interview is the selection of and it is the alignment of your interview, which goes through your resume, right? If your resume is selected, only then you are going to be carried forward. So a very huge number of resumes are submitted. What is the process of shortlisting it? People know, people have the word about ATS, but how it is actually happening and what is being considered and what is being not?
This is something that we tell everyone, and particularly for tech job seekers, because skill set mapping is a very big thing for tech jobs, is to make sure that every job that you apply to has a resume that meets that requirement.
Okay.
So there are ATS platforms, which are applicant tracking systems, which receive those resumes, and it uses, it scans, it goes through all of the information, it parses it, and then stack ranks it basis a lot of things. One of the things is the keywords. So
Right.
typical advice that we give is to make sure that you're adding the keywords that are relevant to you, not
Correct,
just
correct,
whatever
correct, correct,
keywords,
correct.
relevant keywords from the job description
Yeah.
that match your skill set. Put them into your resume when you're applying for these jobs. Now, here's the thing, right? Most companies are not expecting to find a candidate who's going to be 100% perfect fit.
Right.
That person doesn't exist in many cases.
Right.
Sometimes they do, but not every time.
Right.
They're going to be okay if you meet 80-90% of the requirement, and that's what you should keep in mind. But unfortunately, sometimes you have stories of people applying for job without even meeting that bare minimum, right? Interestingly, we've done research in this. We've spoken to job seekers around the world, and in India, more than 50% of job seekers said they apply for job even though they don't meet even the 70% threshold,
Right.
which is problematic for many ways, right? It makes it difficult for the recruiters, it makes it difficult for the people who are actually qualified, and it doesn't really help you because you're not going to find the role. So you really need to do that.
In case you are just increasing the numbers and
Yes.
just making the process tougher for the others.
And yourself as well,
Right.
because now they're not going to take you at face value, right, going forward.
Correct.
The second thing that I should start calling out is there is a very big shift even in the market, right? Away from college degrees, away from years of experience, and closer to skills. So it's really important that you highlight the actual skills you have, more than the degrees, more than the years of experience, the actual experiences, the actual projects that you worked on, and the skill sets that you have. That is very crucial in helping an organization understand if you're the right person for the role, right? It's easy to say, I know something, but if you can showcase it in some way, that's
Right.
even better. The thing that we always say is if you can bring numbers,
Correct.
and I understand sometimes for freshers, it might be difficult, right, to bring those numbers in, but you can show your experience or the way you've utilized your experience, your skills in different ways throughout your academic career as well. That's an option.
Right.
But if you are an experienced person who's been working in the industry, you can find ways to highlight your skills, or a better way to put this, how you've used your skills to help the organization that you work for. And that works really well, especially in your resume. So I would highly recommend doing that as well.
Well, that is actually completely what I believe as well. Because in a few sessions that I also have taken for resume building and all, I do keep telling people, like, do not just put words there. Okay, if these are your talents, these are your skills, that should be backed by at least an internship or a project you have used in, at least any or a leadership role you have played. You should be using your keywords. You should be utilizing the space that you have in one page of your resume very well, and just without any redundancy, put those keywords in the places where you have used it. So it is going to be beneficial for, adding some more content which might be relevant as well.
Sure.
Right.
Just to add, again, to reiterate.
Right.
Use the keyword if it's only relevant to
you. Correct.
Yes.
Correct. That is most crucial. So Rohan, when it comes to, big numbers of people already applying, even though your resume might be very ATS friendly, you might get rejected, right? That is also a scenario. But in that case, just asking for help and from a very good network that you have made could help, right? And people can do utilize social media for that as well. So what is like a special piece of advice that you would want to give, that what are the do's and what are the don'ts for the same?
You're completely right in what you were asking me just now. Networking can play a very pivotal role in finding that next job. And we always tell tech job seekers, all job seekers, to do networking, because that could be the difference between getting a job in the future. But the biggest mistake that most job seekers make when they're doing networking is they take a very scattered and generic approach, in the sense that they reach out to anybody they can find
Right.
on networking sites or social media, and they tend to bombard them with requests, right?
That
And
happens a lot.
yeah, and that doesn't work all the time, because think of it, right, from a tech leader or a TA leader's perspective. They're on social media, they are getting a ridiculous number of requests to connect, and when you are one of them, you just become one of many, because you are doing it in large numbers and you're sending very generic messages. But if you can find a role or a company or a leader that you really want to connect with, if you can understand what motivates them and the work that they're doing on, you can actually craft a message that is more personalized, much more
Correct.
likely to get a response from them, whether it's a TA leader, whether it's a tech leader. By making personalized messages for very few, you are much more likely to get success rather than sending it out to everyone, right? And that is where what we say is leave a positive digital footprint, and be professional at the
Right.
same time. Now, couple of other tips that we give them is, once you do make the connect, it doesn't end there, right? You
Right.
have to show value, you have to show skills or capabilities. So you should be active on social media, you should be sharing information about the work that you've done in the past.
Right.
And all of that will help them understand your commitment and your drive to want to be part of that organization. So all of these things together can make you, give you a better chance, a leg up, right? Of course, here's the thing about job search: it's not just one thing, right? It's doing a
Right.
lot of things as well
Right.
as possible.
Correct.
So this is just one of the many things that they should be doing to grow.
That's completely right, Rohan. And like I have also seen this pattern. And since the time that GPT has come in, people do tend to follow a pattern that they write up a context from there and they just copy paste the names of different people and they send the message, which again is not a very good approach. The targeted audience is the main thing. And if you are looking for people and if you are looking for the company that you want to get in touch with those people who can really help you out. Just getting in touch with many is not going to benefit you much. It's just going to fill up your chats, that's all. And not only yours but theirs as well. So thinking both the perspectives, targeted audience with a personalized message is the best approach, right?
Yes, definitely. And you're more likely to get that response. And I'm talking from personal experience. I get a lot of requests for people, talking about jobs. And some of them catch my attention because they've taken an effort to try and understand where I'm coming from, right? And that's more likely for me to respond. And when you start getting, especially when you're a tech leader or a TA leader,
Right.
you get hundreds of requests
That
in a month.
happens. I can completely empathize with you, Rohan.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
And you have to be particular. You can't address all 100, unfortunately, even if we
Right.
would like to.
That happens because a few people are going to be left who are not going to be responded, and people should not feel bad about it. But you must be consistent. Do not just bombard with messages, but what you can do is you can keep on approaching on a few special occasions that you feel that you might feel the other person is comfortable in, and you are more likely to get a response.
And of course, just one last thing I want to leave it with.
Sure.
Remember that you're reaching out to get their attention, to let them know who you are.
Right.
And self-promotion is part of it. But too much self-promotion can come off very spammy. Don't be
Correct,
boastful,
correct.
right? Just
Right.
be honest, be upfront, be authentic, and you're more likely to get a response.
Correct. Humbleness is one thing that should be maintained everywhere, and obviously afterwards as well, but very crucial when you are in the process of getting a job. Right. So Rohan, one more thing that is very important for all of the people, but they overlook, is to firstly assess the values of the company that they are going in, because people also think that if they are just having the skills that I mentioned in the JD, they are capable for it, and they overlook the value that our company is following. So keeping in mind that it is also a very important aspect, what could be various ways of analyzing companies' values?
I love this question because it's something I'm very close to as well, and I'm always looking forward to answering it. Because when you say, it's important when you're applying for a job that you align with the company's values, you're more likely to get it. It's not the full answer, and let me explain what I
Right,
mean.
right.
It's a two-way street, right?
Correct.
It's not just that your values align with them and you'll get the job. It's also that
The
your
other way
values
around.
align with them and you'll
Right.
be happy to work for them.
Correct.
So what we always tell job seekers is, find companies that have similar values. Then you're not, have to. It makes it so much easier. If your
Correct.
values are the same as the companies that you're trying to achieve, work with, it just gets much better. And it's not too complicated to find out the answer, right? And that's the best part, because companies are spending a lot of time, a lot of effort to share this message. They
Okay.
want people to know what the company's mission is, what the company's values are,
Right.
what the company offers in terms of benefit. Essentially, they're trying to help job seekers understand what's in it for them.
Correct.
Right? And there are many ways they can do this. They can go to a company's career site and there'll be a lot of information, or they can go to ratings and review sites like Indeed or Glassdoor for that matter, to try and understand what is it actually right. For example, if you go to the career site, you will see the company's mission, the company's value, the types of departments that are there, the
Right.
types of work that they are doing, the kind of CSR activities that they are, participating in,
Correct.
and how they're giving back to society. And then you go to a rating site and a review site like Indeed and Glassdoor, and you understand from anonymous employees
Right.
whether that is the reality of it.
Correct.
You
Because
get
they double check it.
yes, and then you get the real picture.
Right.
And then you see if, and here's the thing, right? If you find a company that's saying the same thing as its employees are saying, then it's really good, right? That's a company you want to work
First
for.
of all, that's very idealistic, but
Yeah.
still, if that happens, then it is completely a very good choice to be
Yeah,
in that
no company is perfect, right? And this
Right.
is something we actually say, there is not a single company on Indeed or Glassdoor that have a 5-star rating out of 5 stars. It is impossible, right?
Correct.
Because there is no perfect company. You have to find the compromises. And I said earlier in the beginning of today's conversation about find out what you really want.
Right. Correct.
And then it's very easy to make these decisions. So you can go on these ratings and review sites, you can read the reviews, you can see, right, what is like. And then you can also go to Glassdoor communities
Right.
and ask questions of employees and ask them, hey, what is it like to work in this team? And you can get verified anonymous answers. And the beauty of all of this is it's not complicated. All this information is very easily available. You can go online, you can Google it, you can Google the company, you can Google Indeed and Glassdoor,
Correct.
find it, and then very easily understand what it's like to work at a company. It has made a lot of lives easier, and it should, right? You want to work for companies that have similar values. It makes it much more easier to work for them as well.
Absolutely right, Rohan. And thanks to Indeed and such companies who are bringing this transparency to all the aspirants. Well, one more thing is that I would want to just add to the conversation is just the networking part. The thing that we are doing on Glassdoor and Indeed, we can obviously follow that up the same approach in our social medias as well,
Yes.
right? We can follow up the different pages of companies so that at least we get to know what events they are having, what things they are doing for their employees. Because once companies do something, they often like to boast about it. So you should be keeping an eye for that as well. And once you want to double check it, connect with the people that they are there, right? You can ask them. So Ron, the next thing I would want to discuss about is often a skill which all the people take for granted, right? But they shouldn't. The thing is, people do tend to follow up on their hardest skills and what are the needs in the job description. They gain those skills, they work for it hard, and I believe even if they are capable, sometimes they lack one thing, which is very important, which is soft skills, right? And from the initial stage, they should be working upon it. But what are your views on it, Rohan?
I love this question, particularly because I'm a strong believer that there are no hard and soft skills. All skills are required.
Okay.
I'm pulling your leg, but
Yeah.
soft skills gives the implication that it is something that it would be nice to have.
Correct.
But we've reached a stage where it's not there, right?
It's essential.
It's essential.
Right.
Exactly. You're right. And there are many of them. But the thing that I have learned from speaking to several very senior TA leaders, recruiters, even hiring managers to try and understand, what they are looking for, I can sum it up into a couple of things, right? First is your ability to learn.
Okay.
To learn and unlearn. Because, I mean, especially for tech job seekers, technology is evolving at such
Constantly.
a very rapid pace.
Right.
What you may learn today may not be really applicable a couple of years from now. So you have to be able to unlearn and then learn the new stuff and be good at it. So that ability to learn is very crucial for a job seeker to have. And there are many ways to kind of exhibit this also. During interviews, during resumes, you can show your learning path, right? How you've learned your skills, how you've gotten to where you are. By showing that path, you can show your ability to learn.
Right.
The next thing I should really call out is the ability to adapt, because we live in a constantly evolving situation, right? Things change. Anybody who's ever worked on a project knows all the planning, regardless of all the planning, some things are going to change. And if you are unable to adapt at that point, then you're going to have a problem.
Correct.
How much ever you plan, things will be different when you start to execute. So they are always looking for that ability to adapt. And that's another thing you should be highlighting in many ways. One of the ways you can highlight it in your resume is actually, or in interviews for that matter as well, is talk about all the problems you have faced.
Correct.
And how you adapted to that problem,
Right.
how you overcome it, right? And once you showcase that, it shows them that you are someone who's going to be able to fit into any situation, any team, any outcome, any goal. You can give it to them and you will achieve it. The third thing I think job seekers should be focused on is the ability to communicate, right? Even if you're an individual contributor, you work in a company which has a lot of other people.
They do.
And you need to get buy-in, you need to explain, you need to promote, and you need to work with others. And a crucial factor to that is communicating with them, whether it's in written format, whether it's in spoken. It has become very crucial. You work in many companies that you go and see, you'll see, if you want to work on something new, you have to make a case for it. And making a case for it typically involves some form of written, some form of spoken communication.
That does.
And if you can't do that, then you will be working on things that others are coming up with ideas.
Correct,
right?
correct.
You want to work on your ideas. If you want to make that a case, you need to be able to communicate. And it's not just for ideas, right? Just for basic daily work, the ability to communicate makes a lot of sense. And I know it sounds very cliche to say this, because it's something people have been saying.
That is true. That is true.
For years,
Correct.
right? But it hasn't changed.
It is taking people to understand it still.
Yes.
So even though it might sound very cliche, those 3 points, you might have redundantly have heard it so many times from so many different people. But the main point is, if these 3 things being highlighted everywhere, Rohan is also stating it, you must realize, you must understand the importance of it. And again, these 3 things are actually very personal to you. You should be able to express yourself in front of others in a well structured way, so that everybody's understanding you simply. Correct. And the second point that you mentioned, that was actually really helpful. I guess many of the times when you are in an interview and you feel a little lag in confidence that how you're going to present some ideas, you should always think of situations where you have used your skills. Put that up. Tell it like a story. The other person is going to understand it in a similar manner, and it is going to be even more effective, right?
Yes.
That does. So moving ahead with you, Rohan, the next thing that I would want to ask to you is actually, I have also seen the market. I have been seeing the market. And from the point that Indeed has come in, it has played a very helpful role for the people who are looking for jobs. So could you please just tell me a little journey about Indeed?
Thanks for that question. To explain Indeed is to kind of explain the original innovation of Indeed, which is the fact that we built a platform to try and provide job seekers a very comprehensive source of jobs. What that means is we are trying to aggregate jobs from all over the internet into one place, so that job seekers, instead of going to multiple locations to look for jobs,
Correct.
multiple career sites, multiple companies, they can come to one place, which is Indeed, and look for jobs, right? Makes their life a lot simpler, and it's very easy for them to apply to multiple jobs across the country. But it doesn't end there, right? We are also constantly innovating. For example, in India, Indeed is available entirely in Hindi.
Okay.
we understand that, there are different parts of the country with different comfort levels in English.
Right.
And we have to cater to everybody because,
Correct.
again, everyone is looking for jobs.
Right.
And by catering to everybody, and the way we are catering to everybody is by building a platform in Hindi, and we plan to do it in multiple languages, but they can use it to search in Hindi, to find jobs that are all written in Hindi, to communicate and navigate in that language. The other thing that we're also doing in some cases is, in some of the jobs, we actually have recruiters directly putting their numbers.
Okay.
So when you're on our Indeed app, you can actually find jobs where you can click a button and call the recruiter and speak to them about that job. So we are trying to build ways to not just connect job seekers with jobs, but quickly connect job seekers with the recruiters on the other
Right.
end of those jobs as well. We're also providing job seekers with resources to help them in that job search journey, right? We have a very extensive career guide section where they can go and read and understand more of what I was just telling them right now, right? How to search for jobs, how to apply for it, how to approach it, how to build resumes. Several pieces of information that are very valuable in the job seeker's journey are available on our career guide, right? So we are trying to make it as simple as possible and as easy as possible for job seekers to find and apply for jobs and connect with recruiters.
So, Rohan, actually, that's completely true, and the numbers speak for themselves. So, what are you waiting for? Just upload your resume in Indeed, and don't forget to put your phone number there so that you can get personalized suggestions in your WhatsApp. Thanks for tuning in. Rohan took his time out here. Thank you so much for that, Rohan. And don't forget to just share and put your thoughts in the comments and like the video. And I'll be meeting you in the next podcast. Thank you.